Hello, this is Brian. Today is Sunday, May 16th, 2021. I am at Torrey Pines State Natural Reserve in the extension area, Del Mar, and I want to present a Spotlight on Shrubs episode. This episode focuses on the rare, narrow, endemic Mar Manzanita. This is Arctostaphylos glandulosa, subspecies crassifolia. And it's fairly common here in the extension area. Not as common by the main reserve area. The Mar Manzanita is a medium to quite large shrub in the Heath family, the Ericaceae. And like pretty much all the other manzanitas, or most of the other manzanitas, it features a smooth bark that even sometimes is borderline shiny. The bark on this one is more of a dark brown color. And like other manzanitas, it also has its leaves relatively vertically oriented to minimize the amount of transpiration that comes out of the leaves during the dry climate, during the dry seasons of the pretty dry climate here. Now, you may notice that I mentioned it's a subspecies of Arctostaphylos glandulosa. That is not something to be surprised about, because it is a subspecies of the widespread Eastwood Manzanita, which is Arctostaphylos glandulosa, with various subspecies. There are lots of subspecies of Eastwood Manzanita, and this is just one of many of them. Again, this is subspecies crassifolia. Crassifolia basically means thick leaf in Latin. So Arctostaphylos glandulosa subspecies crassifolia is a subspecies of Eastwood Manzanita, and does look quite similar to Eastwood Manzanita. No surprise there. It has these leaves that are somewhat fuzzy, not quite as glandularly leaved as Arctostaphylos glandulosa. And you get these kind of setose hairs along the twig. So it's really kind of non-glandular hairy, is kind of a way to describe it. And this subspecies is a very narrow endemic to basically the central San Diego County coast, maybe a couple spots north and a couple spots south, but basically we're in the epicenter of its natural range. So the leaves are relatively narrow, kind of ovate, kind of broader at the base and tapered to a tip at the top. And again, they have a light pubescence to them, more prominent in the younger leaves. And like other species of Arctostaphylos, their fruit are drupes. Their fruits are drupes. These little round drupes that'll eventually turn more of a reddish color when they're ripe. They kind of have some greenish on them right now as they are not quite ripe. But they're kind of small, kind of round drupes. Common on manzanitas. Arctostaphylos is a very variable genus with lots of diversity. So the Mar Manzanita is basically native to just this area. So this subspecies is a very narrow, protected endemic. And we're at the epicenter of where it grows. So If you ever come to Torrey Pine's extension area, appreciate it, enjoy it, respect it. I love the architecture of this shrub. It's just so interesting, intricate. It branches out so nicely. There they are. Another thing about the Mar Manzanita is its flowers are like pretty much any other manzanita. They're little bell-shaped, kind of whitish flowers in these panicles, which eventually become the clusters of fruits. Of course, this is flower season. This is turning into fruiting season. And you can see here, you can see the little calyx, or like the little calyx lobes on top of the, or the bottom of the, or the top of the drupes where the stem connects to. It's kind of hard to see on camera. They're kind of like 5 little leafy lobes. I think those are the, I think that's part of the calyx, I believe. Either that or leaf bracts, but take some time to appreciate this rare endemic. And this area right here, I'm on, I believe it's called the Red Ridge Trail, is where you're going to find quite a few specimens of it. I mean, they're scattered up and down throughout this whole reserve, but more so in the chaparral as opposed to the coastal sage scrub, which dominates a lot of the south-facing slopes in this preserve. But along this ridge here, I believe it's, like I said, it's called the Red Ridge Trail. This is on the east side. I think I'm on the east side of the preserve. You can come up the Margaret Fleming Trail, follow it up to a neighborhood, and then branch off and start heading along the ridge line. You'll see a telephone wire nearby, so you'll know you're on the right trail. This is where you'll see some of the most magnificent specimens of this plant. Just look at the structure, the curling branches. It's just a beautiful species of Manzanita. Very appreciative of the fact that I get to see this plant. Just look at the beautiful bark. Again, the somewhat narrow leaves. I think subspecies crassifolia, the leaves are a little bit wider, if I remember correctly. They should be a little more ovate and a little wider. Well, this leaf kind of fell off, but you can kind of appreciate the shape of this one. But you get a lot of specimens of this Manzanita along here. I think this is pretty much the main part of this population. It's all grown all along here. Again, and like most species of Manzanita, it pre-forms next year's flower buds the year before. Most species of Manzanitas pre-form their flower buds the year before, so it has already pre-formed its flower buds for spring 2022, apparently. So Manzanita is a common, well, in this area, it's a common component of the southern maritime or coastal chaparral. Around here, it also has in the understory of Torrey Pine woodland. Common associates: Neoeridium dumosum, bush rue, San Diego chamise or coastal chamise, Adenosoma fasciculatum variety obtusifolium, Mission Manzanita, lots of other species, but this is probably the ridgeline where you're going to see the most concentration of this plant. I mean, like I said, you'll see it in other portions of the park, but mostly in the chaparral portions, less so in the coastal sage scrub. It tends to like chaparral and Torrey Pine woodland more. Another common associate plant, Dudleya lanceolata, and Salvia clevelandii, Cleveland sage. So that's basically going to wrap it up for this one. The Mar Manzanita, Arctostaphylos glandulosa, subspecies crassifolia. This was another episode of Spotlight on Shrubs with Brian. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.